right, so I now have the distinct honor of introducing Michael Kratsios. Michael Kratsios is the Deputy Assistant to the President for Technology Policy, and he's with us today at Blueprint 2019 because this administration cares deeply about the American worker. As President Trump's top technology advisor, Michael has led the development and execution of the administration's national technology policy agenda since his inauguration. Under his leadership, the White House launched important national initiatives and strategic plans for artificial intelligence, quantum computing, 5G, and broadband communications involving autonomous vehicles, commercial drones, STEM education, and advanced manufacturing. Michael has also represented the United States as the head of delegation at multiple international forums, including the G7 and G20. Prior to joining the White House, Michael invested in and advised technology companies in San Francisco. On March 21st, President Trump announced his intention to nominate Michael to serve as the 4th Chief Technology Officer of the United States. So please give a warm welcome to Michael Kratsios.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you, John, for that kind introduction. I am extremely excited to be here this morning to discuss American workers in the age of artificial intelligence. For the past 2 years, I have had the privilege of working on technology policy at the White House. And before that, as John mentions, I spent 6 years in Silicon Valley working as an investor and as an advisor for a number of startups. So it's in large part because of these experiences that I'm so excited about being in York, Pennsylvania today. You see, there are many theories about what makes America such an amazing place. You know, some will argue that it is our ability to innovate. Others that it's the ideas that are at the root of our nation's founding. And still others that it's our free market system, which has given regular people from Andrew Carnegie to Steve Jobs the ability to rise and fundamentally transform the world. To a certain degree, they are all right, but I've learned that at the core of American industry, American principles, and America's spirit of exploration, there is one true source of greatness, and that is the American people. If we desire to succeed as a country, if we care about our fellow citizens, and if we want to be worthy of the nation our grandfathers and forefathers built, then our future must be forged by the people and for the people in places like York, Pennsylvania. Yet in recent decades, American workers, facing everything from deindustrialization to financial crisis, have not enjoyed the economic security that they deserve. So as we experience a new wave of technological progress in fields like quantum computing and advanced manufacturing, and perhaps most visibly artificial intelligence, the American people are understandably uncertain. Yet we have never been a people that faces the future with fear in our hearts. After every great change in our history, we always emerge stronger. This year, as many of you know, marks our nation's 50th anniversary of the year we put men on the moon. On our path to that great triumph, we faced setbacks, we faced shortcomings, we faced failures. The tragic death of our astronauts during a launch rehearsal for Apollo 1 brought our nation together in prayer and in mourning. But we didn't give up. We looked to the sky once more. Scientists and engineers, astronauts and electrical workers, machinists and welders, every kind of person with every kind of expertise joined together. 2 years later, not only did we reach the moon, we brought every single astronaut safely back home. Time and time again, we've embraced the coming of new scientific ages. We've harnessed nuclear energy, we've launched satellites, and we've developed the internet. Times of technological triumph bring unimaginable wonders and prosperity. And the doomsday predictions pushed by our popular culture never ultimately materialize. It's hard to imagine the Terminator in real life, for example, when we're still years and years away from robots actually being able to even clear a coffee table. And as a most recent economic report to the president found, when automation advances, not only do many people move between industries instead of lose their jobs, employers also have every incentive to use technology in ways that help workers become more productive and more valuable than ever before. Yet we know the story is never so one-sided. Innovation has done much more good than harm, but creative disruption still impacts communities, careers, and the lives of real people. Just because we wouldn't trade our computers to restore the switchboard industry doesn't mean we should forget the difficulties confronted by displaced phone operators. As technology changes the nature of work, we must make something completely clear. A computer, a car, and a smartphone can become obsolete, but people will never be obsolete. And people will always need honorable work and strong communities. Work, after all, is about much more than a paycheck. Work gives you a reason to get up in the morning. It gives you the satisfaction of creating. Work makes you part of something larger than yourself. Work gives you the pride and the dignity of supporting yourself and your family by your own sweat and sacrifice. Nothing can replace work. And when workers thrive, so do communities. Stores open, churches grow, crime drops, marriages flourish, kids have hope. And as York has seen, citizens of cities and towns can join together in a common purpose. We must build a future where working families not only have the means to live, but the ability to prosper. Now, President Trump has worked tirelessly to lift up the American worker, and thanks to that devotion, we have seen amazing results. Since President Trump was elected, we've created over 5.3 million jobs, including 500,000 manufacturing jobs. Nearly 1 million fewer Americans have to rely on part-time work, and nearly 5 million people have been lifted off food stamps. We've added 215,000 blue-collar jobs in 2018 alone, and the real average hourly earnings rose by 2% over the past year. Thanks to the President's pledge to the American worker, more than 200 companies have committed to training and enhancing opportunities for over 6.5 million Americans. As part of the historic Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, we've worked with state and local governments, including Governor Tom Wolf, to designate 8,700 opportunity zones, including one right here in New York. These zones provide large incentives for private sector investment in communities across America that need it most. Hope is returning, and now this pro-worker agenda is at the heart of the administration's approach to emerging technologies. Our goal is an America where people are empowered, not replaced by technology. We're already seeing that happen. For example, here in the Keystone State, York Exponential started the Fortress Academy, an accelerated coding school and boot camp that is training people how to use robots to augment their work. Georgia is seeing a rebirth of the American textile industry with the help of automated sewing machines. For decades, the textile industry left the United States for Asia and Latin America. Now, factories are coming back as American workers are becoming even more productive with the help of these machines. In Alabama, new technology has not only made jobs more productive, it has made them safer as well. I had the great pleasure of meeting John Davenport, a surveyor of quarry stockpiles for Whitaker Contracting at the White House. As he scales hills of loose rocks to take measurements, he would often hurt himself and fall as the rocks gave way beneath him. Now he doesn't have to put himself at risk. He uses a drone to take the measurements for him. Perhaps most importantly of all, technology is allowing people across the country to stay in their homes, work in their hometowns, and have access to resources and services they never had before. Telemedicine can save rural Americans long-distance trips to the doctor. Broadband access allows people to start an online business from their own home. Technology that augments workers can keep factories open and towns alive so people aren't forced to search for opportunities far away from the place that they call home. This is the model we should follow, the best way to support local communities and realize the untapped potential of the American worker is not to reject technology, but to use it. That is why the Trump administration has begun to create a comprehensive system that helps embrace technology and adapt to the changing world. The President's National Council for the American Worker is made up of the top government officials and advised by the industry leaders and experts. They're spearheading efforts to equip Americans, no matter what age, with the skills they need to thrive in today's economy. President Trump recently launched the American Artificial Intelligence Initiative, which focuses in particular on preparing the American workforce with the skills they will need in the age of AI. Early in this administration, President Trump signed an executive order to promote the creation of industry-recognized apprenticeship programs and vocational training to help American workers find rewarding careers and earn a great living. He has proposed making Pell Grants available for students and workers to help them acquire short-term retraining certifications, not just for 2- and 4-year degree programs. President Trump also signed into law the Forever GI Bill, allowing veterans to use their GI benefits at any time in their lives to enroll in non-traditional technology courses like coding academies and nano degrees that will help them get a job after completion. Later, he signed the Carl D. Perkins Career and Technical Education Act, giving 11 million students and workers greater access to better training and in-demand jobs. In his most recent budget, the President proposed reforming federal work-study programs to provide low-income students work-based learning opportunities in the private sector rather than just on-campus jobs. This will help them learn in real-time occupational skills. We must dispel the myth that college is the only road to success. The Trump administration recently released a national broadband strategy to increase high-speed internet access across America, especially in rural areas. This will allow more Americans to pursue online education and to benefit from the digital economy, lifting up those far outside of tech hubs and wealthy urban centers. We have also strongly promoted STEM education and computer science. We signed a memo to direct at least $200 million per year in grant funding to STEM and computer science education. At the end of this year, the Trump administration released a 5-year STEM education strategy, and the strategy will help build a strong foundation for all Americans to gain STEM literacy, will ensure equal access to STEM education opportunities across our country, and will prepare the STEM workforce of the future. Now, the President isn't only focused on helping workers adapt in a changing economy. He is also pursuing fundamental reforms to our economic system to give American workers more opportunities to thrive than ever before. President Trump's historic campaign to cut regulations has saved our nation $33 billion and unleashed our economic potential. Our tax cuts have given American businesses the opportunity to grow, hire more workers, and raise wages. Our tough actions on trade have not only revitalized industries crucial to our national security, we've also made it clear that the days where other countries can steal American wealth, American ideas, and American jobs are over. Each and every one of these policies puts the American people first. We are a nation on the rise, and we can see it right here in New York. And I've had the opportunity to walk around this beautiful city and meet its wonderful citizens. I don't just see a place with good jobs. I see a community filled with hope. I see parents who have pride in their work. I see kids optimistic about their future. I see the best of America shining out for all of the world to see. And it's because you embraced innovation and made it work for the people here in New York. Here you aren't being led by the fate or the forces of technology. Here you are writing your own history. So we must shape our future as we want it, a future where American workers control their own destiny. And we will do it just as Americans always have, with the courage to face the unknown, with the greatest technological tools our minds can create, and with the labor of our own hands. So thank you so much, VentureBeat, and thank you, York. I'm excited to be here.